Welcome to Breaking Solo, how solopreneurs break barriers, build brands, and embrace the future of business.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Breaking Solo. My guest today is Shampaigne Graves. I'm very excited to have you with me today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Donna. I'm so happy to be here.
Awesome. So tell the audience who you are and what you do.
So I'm Champagne Graves. I am a business owner of two beautiful businesses. I call them my babies. And so my first business started out with just myself and $20. I had a mission and vision to help women start and stay in business, even though I was just starting out, but I've done a pretty good job at staying in business. Um, with that, I started out on Shopify with a free trial and Printify with the free trial. And I created a line of t-shirts that a portion of the proceeds went to women in business. And so now what that venture looks like is we are a micro school and training center. We have a board and we have core partners. And none of that would have happened if I didn't believe in myself first and just go for it, even though I didn't have a team.
That's amazing. Good for you. You've done it all,
Thank
girl.
you. Thank you.
So tell me, what inspired you to go into solopreneur business?
Yeah, what inspired me was actually something that wasn't that positive, but I made it into a positive. My best friend, he actually passed away at the age of 23 or 24, and he wanted to be an entrepreneur, specifically a serial entrepreneur. And I was post grad at the time, obviously devastated and wanting to carry his legacy forward. I started the business with the idea of I'm going to be an entrepreneur. If I don't know what I'm going to do with my life, then I'm going to just carry forward his dreams. And so, with that in my back pocket, I've always been super brave. I've always done things while I'm scared of them. And so I've just really, really enjoyed this ride so far.
That really is amazing. Thank you for carrying on his legacy.
Of
It
course.
had to be hard.
Yes, but it is an honor now.
Yeah, for sure. So what was your biggest challenge in your solopreneur journey? And I know you've went beyond that now, but what was your challenge initially?
Well, my biggest challenge was the fact that I was by myself and I didn't have a team. And so I really had to be a woman of very many hats. And so I definitely took the time and made sure that I learned business, made sure that I learned the systems and those kinds of things. And what that really did is that helped me to prepare myself for the next point where I have been able to hire out a team.
That is pretty incredible. So tell the audience, when did that happen? When did you make the transition from solo to uh, having a team support you?
Well, the transition was relatively quick. I honestly started out with the team maybe a year or two in that I was doing internships, so a smaller version of that. And now what I'm doing for the first time is hiring equity partners. And so I don't think that that's something that a lot of solopreneurs know that you can do to step into the next stage of your business and have a team is that you can offer them equity, you can offer them profit share as your business has grown, and you can offer them the opportunity to grow with you.
That is, I'm certain that most solopreneurs don't even think about that kind of option. So good for you.
Thank you.
So how did you find your unique niche
I
or
found
niche?
my
Whichever.
yeah. So my unique niche honestly just came from me loving women and wanting to help them. I'm a woman who loves helping other women. And so, honestly, that's very funny because I didn't grow up having a good relationship with women. I didn't have a good relationship with self as a woman. And so that was one of the things that I challenged myself to do in this business is to connect with other women. And through those connections, I was able to grow in love not only with women as a whole, but with myself as a woman. And so I think that really just being able to tap into strategic relationships, that has just helped me immensely with every single thing that I've done. And so, really, the niche has come from relationships, not starting with any money, not starting with any mentorship, no education. I had a lot of things that I was lacking, but through time and resilience and effort, I've been able to gain all of those things and meet so many amazing people along the way.
Very cool. So, what's a strategy you use to stand out from the competition?
Well, you're kind of looking at it right now, my pink. So, my pink is one of the ways that I stand out from the competition. A lot of my growth happened through earned media, organic social media growth, and personal branding, actually. Personal branding has taken me so far, and specifically the visuals of my branding on a personal level has taken me immensely far when it comes to things like speaking engagements, media opportunities, and it's gotten to the point where if I'm running late for something, someone who knows me will just be like, "It's the girl in the pink. Just grab the girl in the pink. She's gonna be downstairs by the elevators or wherever I'm located." And so that's one of the things that people understand about me. She's always gonna be the girl in the pink.
So, how did you make that decision about choosing a specific color and sticking with it?
Yeah, so I honestly wanted to push back against a lot of narratives that were happening at the time about women and that we couldn't lean into our femininity. And so that's why I chose the color pink. The color pink is obviously synonymous with baby girls and things like that in women and a lot of the movements that were happening at the time were about women's empowerment. And so I decided to just completely lean in to pink and completely lean in to what it represented it for not only myself, but for other women. And so I think my pink is a signal to other women that I'm a safe space. I'm a person that they can come to and they can feel at home with.
That's great. So, tell me, what industry trends do you think solopreneurs should be paying attention to?
AI. Like AI automation, anything when it comes to technology that is happening in a cloud software, we need to be up to date on that, especially if you're running your solopreneur business online, having a really great understanding of your tech stack, having a really great understanding of what's happening in the industry with those software as a service programs, with the AI, because there are new iterations being born every single day. All of us, we started with ChatGPT, and a lot of people that are just starting to ride the AI wave start with ChatGPT. But I'm a Gemini and Claude girl, and a lot of people don't even know what those are. And so, it's still emerging, but as solopreneurs, we need to be on top of that and we need to be kind of first in the know with those things.
Wow, good for you. I agree. AI is one of those tools we just have to be careful in how we use it.
Absolutely. That brings me to a good point. Before we hopped on the call, there was a post on LinkedIn in which a company did a study on their users and asked the users if they wanted AI features. And over 90% of them said no. And that really lines up with the research that I've done about women in AI and how we have such low adoption rates because we generally get the ick about AI. We don't like the idea of somebody's work being stolen. We don't like the idea of somebody's job being replaced. We don't like the idea of someone not coming up with their own original work. And so that's why you see all of this complaining about AI slop, and you get all of these things where you're you're really just having to deal with a lot of brand trust issues if you're leveraging AI too much and people know it.
Yeah. So I recently read a study where, like you said, the adoption of AI is pretty low. However, those that are already using it are actually using it more. And so, it's paying attention to how are you using it more, and is it interfering with your own voice?
Absolutely. And as solopreneurs, we should have a very clear and distinct voice. We're the ones who, most times when we start out, are going to be writing our own copy. We're going to be creating our own websites. And so having a very strong voice is important, and being able to leverage that strong voice when you're creating prompts for AIs is really important if you are going to utilize the platforms to scale or automate or streamline things.
Absolutely. Okay, so tell me, what's one tool, app, or resource that you absolutely can't live without for your business?
Claude. And the reason why is because I use Claude as an assistant. I don't necessarily use it as an AI tool, I use it as an assistant. And another thing that I use it for, which is kind of unorthodox, is I use it as a life and business coach. So I have a couple of different assistants. I have a couple of different Claude projects that I'm working with, and one of them is on future self. So we all make our vision boards at the beginning of the year. I'm a kind of person who makes a vision map. And so one of the things that I did with my Claude is I gave a screenshot of my vision map and I said, "Hey, become me at the end of 2026, having accomplished every single one of these goals." And so I talked to that version of myself, and she's so confident and she is so self aware. And I'm like, I cannot wait until I'm like her at the end of the year.
That's incredible. So, what other kind of assistance do you use Claude for?
I use Claude to help me really, honestly, outside of the assistants, I don't really use Claude for AI copywriting purposes, because I really just take pride in writing my own copy. This isn't a hit on anybody who uses AI to do their copy, but I've always prided myself on being a good writer and having a very strong voice. I don't currently have an email list, but when I did have my email list, and I know that that's a bad thing. I know. I'm working on it, guys. But when I did have my email list, my average open rate was about 43%, which is an insane open
Amazing.
rate in compared to the average. And so one of the things that people that were subscribing to me said that they really liked is they loved my storytelling. And that's just something that AI is not going to be able to do. You can plug in as many files as possible, but it doesn't have those human memories. It doesn't have those human experiences. So they can't connect the dots that way.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, what kind of daily habits or routines do you use to stay focused and productive?
Well, I cannot live without my Google Calendar. Can't live without that. And I definitely utilize the old good fashioned pen and paper. Can't live without that. I love to cross off things at the end of the day. There's something so cathartic about it. And honestly, this last one is a little bit unorthodox, but I dance every single morning. I dance every morning because I think I've done research, and it's actually better for depression than antidepressants, because just think about it, do it. How can you be sad while you're dancing? Try it. Try dancing while you're sad. Those tears are going to dry up in a second because it's too hard to focus on both, and the dancing's going to win. And so whenever I feel like I need to get myself into into a good headspace, dancing is really one of those tools that I use.
I love that. I'd love to dance too, but I don't do it every morning. But that's a good thing to incorporate.
Yeah, it is. I learned that from 2 women are who do leadership coaching for executive women. Their names are Donna and Cheryl, and they have a company called It's Your Time, and they did research themselves about this, and they told me about that, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna try that." I believe that I heard that about 5 or 6 years ago. And it's just been so helpful for everything, and I just think, wow, if I weren't dancing every morning, I'd probably go into my days with such a bad mood.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, how can you not be happy when you're dancing?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great. So tell me, what's one piece of advice you'd give someone that's just now starting their solopreneur journey?
One piece of advice that I would give is to be brave and do things scared, because one of the things that I heard from a very popular coach, Gary Vee, is that when you are looking back at your work, if you're not cringing, if you're not if you're not wincing, then you haven't been doing this thing called entrepreneurship right. You have to be able and be comfortable with being new or failing at something, so to speak, in public so that you can then win in public. That is the gap between starting and success.
That is great advice. So, although it's very hard for most of us to take to have the courage to do those things that feel uncomfortable, but
Absolutely.
it's also the best way to grow.
It's so invaluable, and I take it with me in every aspect of life.
Awesome. All right. So, it has been a pleasure having you with me today. Thank you so much. Where can the audience connect with you and learn more about what you do?
LinkedIn is my jam. I want everyone to connect with me, and if you heard me on Donna's show, go ahead and send me a personal invite and let me know that you heard me here, and I'd be more than open to talk. If you wanna just grab a virtual coffee, I'm so open to that, and I love connecting with people.
Awesome. So, are there any exciting projects you want to share? Launches coming up?
Well, I have a couple of things in the bag that I can't necessarily tell about, but if you follow me on LinkedIn, then I promise I will be making those announcements soon. I'm doing some hiring right now, so I'm excited to introduce some new people to my team. I have an event coming up that I'm just, waiting for those loose ends. And then I have another special project this year that I'm the most excited about, but I definitely can't give spoilers away on that.
All right. We'll just hold our breath and wait then.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for being a guest. I really appreciate it. Audience, if you have not liked the podcast and left a review, please do so. I'm sorry, did you have something else you wanted to share?
No,
Okay.
I didn't wanna share anything outside of I've just been so happy to talk to you, Donna, and it's just been such a pleasure, and it's been fun going down memory lane and remembering how I started.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being with me. And we will see you next week on another episode of Break.